Hi everyone, I'm Meredith and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so excited that you found me, and if you're returning, I'm so grateful you've decided to come back and watch more. I love all things luxury. I love luxury shoes, I love luxury handbags, luxury lifestyle and vlogging, and if they're things that appeal to you, I hope you'll do me a massive favor and hit that subscribe button down below. Hitting that subscribe button costs you nothing and means an awful lot to me, so I hope you'll help me out. Today I wanted to explore the topic of, is luxury returning to the elite? So I have been thinking about this for a little while as we are watching the constant price increases that are happening. And is this a move by luxury as a whole to return it to the elite and make it less obtainable for people? So when we look at the luxury landscape as it is, we can see that it was unobtainable to the common person for many years, tens, hundreds of years, until about the 1920s. In the 1920s, there was a boom for luxury where it became more prevalent, and people's spending power became greater. So the common person had more money to spend. It wasn't just about the uber rich and the super elite having money. More common people had a little bit of extra money to put into the niceties of life. So that's when the shift started to happen into luxury becoming more commonplace and being more obtainable for the everyday person. And we have seen that evolve quite quickly from the 1920s to today. So in 100 years, which seems like a really long time, but it's really not. In 100 years, we've seen it go from this rise to what it is today, which is it is obtainable for a lot of people. Now, I understand there's a lot of people in the world who don't have any money, who don't care about luxury, who don't want to buy luxury, who can't afford luxury. Even if they could afford luxury, they don't want it. Understand all of that. I really do. But when you look at the luxury landscape and when you look at who is buying luxury, the middle class are high in the numbers of people who are buying from luxury houses now. So we see people, yes, using their credit cards and getting themselves into debt to buy luxury. We see people prioritizing the purchasing of luxury over purchasing of, say, assets which would be much better financially for them to invest in, like housing, or, just put it into stocks or gold or whatever you want to put it into. There are certainly better ways to invest your money than to put it into luxury. Some people will argue that luxury handbags are an investment. I would say in today's market, when we're looking at the resale market, there aren't a lot of bags that are still considered to be a great investment. There's a stall happening, but swings and roundabouts, things come back around eventually. If you sit on it long enough, then the value will go back up. So certainly you could make the argument that luxury handbags are an investment. I understand that. But when we're looking at it now as a whole, so statistically, Generation Z, who come in after the millennials, who have me tearing my hair out a lot at work, but different conversation, are spending more money on luxury than the millennials are. So Generation Z have grown up in a world where luxury is so obtainable that they enter adulthood wanting luxury. In a lot of cases, they want luxury before adulthood. So they're getting bags for their 13th birthday. They're getting bags for their 16th birthday. They're asking for luxury cars. Like their understanding of luxury is so much more prevalent than the millennials. So I call myself a Zennial because I refuse to be called a millennial. I am not. I was born in 1981. I sit on the cusp. I sit on the fence of X and Y, or X and the millennials. And luxury, I don't remember luxury growing up. I don't remember until I got to my very late teens, early 20s, when I would start to read Harper's Bazaar and Vogue, and I would see the things in those magazines. But Generation Z have grown up in the world of social media, and they have been exposed to it so much earlier. They are exposed to the influencer, they are exposed to the celebrity all the time carrying these items. So they wanted it much earlier. And they are more likely to buy than millennials are at this point. And it's also become incredibly obvious that luxury spending is emotional, not rational. And that's certainly the case for me. And I imagine it's the case for a lot of you also. When you spend your money, it is an emotional thing. It is not a rational thing. Because if we were all rational, we would be going, well, it's stupid to spend this much money on a handbag. It can't possibly be a rational decision. It has to be an emotional decision. So all those things together mean that luxury is everywhere now. It is so prevalent in society. It is so seen and wanted and coveted that it is everywhere. We have a saturated luxury market. But as a reaction to that, luxury houses have had these constant price rises, which we were all just running with. And money is money. If you can afford it, great. But they are starting to force some people out of the market. That lower middle class are starting to really feel the change in the price rises, and whether or not, and making decisions about whether or not they can continue to buy luxury is now becoming a conversation. So we see a subset of the middle class disappearing from the luxury landscape because they're trying to put food on the table. They're trying to keep up with rising petrol costs, rising grocery costs, rising interest rates, inflation. They're trying to keep up with all of that. So they're kind of moved out of the market because they just can't afford it anymore. Add to that the rising costs of luxury, and they're well and truly gone. We're also seeing the upper middle class looking at the constant price increases and making decisions around what's worth it for them and what's not worth it anymore. So even I am making decisions around that because the cost of these luxury items is now so inflated. I have to look at it rationally. I have to stop looking at it emotionally because they're just so expensive. So I'm talking about things like when I look at the Louis Vuitton Twist, which I love as a bag, in the last 3 years, I've seen it go, the size, which is the bigger size, go from like the high 4,000s to the high 7,000s. Like, I don't feel like that bag is worth that amount of money in my head. So for me personally, I don't feel it's worth it anymore. And something is only worth as much as somebody feels it is. You have to think it's worth that amount of money to buy it. Doesn't mean somebody else won't feel differently. It's about you and how you feel about it and associating that dollar value to it. We can also talk about Chanel and the constant price increases there, and the fact that we have Chanel classic flaps that are up at 15,000 Australian dollars. It's just a ridiculous amount of money for that handbag. People will pay it because it's important to them to have that bag. They still have an emotional attachment to wanting it, and that's fine. But those who may already own that bag or don't have that emotional attachment to that bag or that need to have it will make the decision to not spend that amount of money, which means there's less consumers buying it. Generation Z coming through will want it, but they have to find the money for it, which means they're prioritizing it over other things. And the next generation will prioritize luxury over things that their parents and grandparents traditionally thought were better investments, like property. They will now put their money into luxury and their lifestyle and their travel and just rent for all their life because that's what they're comfortable with, and that's fine. That's not good or bad. It's just what the next generation are looking like they're going to do, and that's fine. Every generation is different. But we're seeing this shift in the luxury landscape. I feel like there's this combined movement from the luxury houses to shift it back to more elite status. So the status where you've got to have real money to be in this market, or you've got to have no responsibilities. So you've not got to have a mortgage or private school fees or be trying to put food on the table for a whole heap of kids. They're pushing towards the disposable income bracket, and that's fine. Lots of people have disposable income, and because they don't have all those other responsibilities, and I think that's fantastic. Like I love my children, but there are days. So they're moving towards that kind of disposable income where you can walk into a Chanel store, see a classic flap sitting there and go, I will give you $15,000 for that right now. I don't even need a credit card for it. Or they're pushing towards the elite again, which is why we see such an emphasis on ready to wear, because the elite will wear the ready to wear and they don't have an issue buying ready to wear because their lifestyle accommodates wearing ready to wear. So that's how I feel about the luxury market at the moment. I feel like we're starting to shift towards the super elite again, or trying to get some status back to it. I also feel like there's a lot of fashion houses or luxury brands that are moving towards like a two-tiered system almost. So almost like a diffusion line and a top tier line, and their diffusion line is going to be shrunk down to a very small line that is obtainable for most people, but they're going to really push the high luxury line. And we can see that from talk around VIP stores. So Louis Vuitton is looking at VIP stores, so the store will just be there for the VIP experience. You can't just walk in off the street, you have to be invited. Chanel is doing the same. Some would argue that Hermes has always done it. That's how it is at the moment. You can't just wander in. You've got to make an appointment or stand in line for a really long time. Anyway, a different story with Hermes. But these fashion houses are moving towards this real VIP experience and creating this it's not elusive, it's not exclusive. I suppose it would be considered super exclusive. So they want it to feel super exclusive. They want to push the elite spenders into this whole other bracket and give them such an amazing experience that they will spend large amounts of money there, and then create this diffusion line for all the normal people, who can obtain that level but are never going to be at this level over here. So I feel like there's a real push towards this elite status, that brands want the elite. They always have, and I understand that. They have always wanted that, but we saw this quick growth in the industry and this ability for these brands to make a lot of money quickly, and I feel like they all hopped on that train. For 100 years-ish, they have made vast sums of money and grown huge amounts of wealth and taken over, the whole fashion industry and really pushed it home, that they have now gained so much wealth that now that we've got this slight shift back to, okay, we've now got all of this. We'll still entertain the masses with this diffusion line. So when I talk about that, I'm talking like Canvas from Louis Vuitton. I'm talking about Zucca from Fendi. I'm talking about SLGs from Chanel. So that's kind of like their diffusion lines almost, the obtainable for most middle class people. So we'll still entertain you guys over there. But our focus is now on the elite. We're going back to what luxury truly is, and that is the super rich, the uber wealthy, the elites. That's who we want in our door. So we're going to start to shift our business model to really cater for them, to really push our product at them and say, aren't we fabulous? Aren't we wonderful? Everybody wants us, to the point where we're charging so much money for our products, but we want them on the elite and the elite only. So that's just my feelings around the industry at the moment. Can you let me know in the comments down below what you think? Do you think that these thoughts that I'm having are valid, that you can kind of see that that's what luxury houses are doing? Or do you just think that this is just another blimp on the luxury radar? This is just where we are at the moment, and things will always continue to tick through where everybody has access to luxury from here on out, and if you've got the money, then yay, you spend it. But the economy is what the economy is. It will be hard for a while and then it'll come back and everybody will go back to spending. I could be wrong. I could really I could absolutely be wrong, I'm often wrong, that this is just, I'm just feeling this way because of the economy and how people are spending money at the moment and the constant price rises, and they're forevermore going to be like this and we just run with it. But I just feel like there's this push, this undercurrent of we want only the elites, and if we can price people out of the market, then we're pushing that. It's really about being elite if you can have our product. It's no longer every man and his dog can have a classic flap. It is now you've got to be truly elite to be able to afford one, or truly liquid in terms of your cash flow. They're just my musings and my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I would love to hear from other YouTubers on this. If you're a YouTuber and you want to talk about this topic, I would love to hear what you think. If you think I'm right, or if you think I'm wrong, please, by all means, I'm more than happy to have a discussion about it. And tell me what you think in the comments down below. If you've liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. It means a lot to a content creator when you hit that subscribe button. Please also hit the little bell notification so you know when I've uploaded videos, which is usually 3 times a week. I'll also throw up my Instagram handle for you so you can come follow me over there. I put lots up in real time, lots around my collection and my day-to-day life, so please come follow me over there. I hope wherever you are in the world today, you are having a fabulous day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.